All right, today we are going to look at some examples of transition from the Phoenix Suns and the Clippers. We're going to look at three specific types of transition and how that leads to an advantage for the offense. One is simply it's easier to go forward than it is to go backwards, just human bodies are designed that way. Two, it leads to miscommunication on the defense. And three, it leads to a numerical advantage. First, in game one here, we can see Kevin Durant is ahead of everyone else and essentially one-on-one with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is a very good defender, but this is a great example of how KD is able to essentially just get downhill and get right by him simply because he's the one that is allowed to go forward and Kawhi has to go backwards to defend the rim. It is very hard to go backwards and much easier to go downhill. So we can see Booker gets the steal right here. The moment he catches this ball, he is already level with Zubac, who's obviously not going to be able to keep up with Booker. And so it's going to create this three up here against two defenders. He is attacking, tries to get a foul right there. The refs don't call it correctly, I think. Booker finds the pass, leads to an easy dunk. So here we can see this is almost like a delayed transition, like it's not even like a heavy point guard pushing it. After all, Plumlee has the ball right now, for crying out loud. The ball gets swung around. The Suns over here, they have Booker guarding two players. The Suns have one player down. I'm not sure who it is over here, but this creates miscommunication. Booker has to try and guard both of them. It creates a downhill drive. Two players come to help here. Ball gets kicked out. Kawhi has an open three. Okay, now switching over to game two, we can see rebound here. Booker looking for the outlet pass. Love that. He is facing towards the middle of the court, facing up the court, is able to essentially catch, turn, and go. Okay, gets the ball. At this point, there's no numerical advantage. You would think Booker is going to be stopped. He has two defenders clearly right here. Kawhi has the person on the backside. I believe this is Russ chilling up here with this offensive player. However, as I said before, it is significantly easier to go downhill than it is to go backwards, especially when there's a huge athletic discrepancy between Booker and Zubac right here. Attacks it, gets downhill, finishes at the rim. Look at this. At this point, you would say there's no chance he's able to get to the rim. But because he's able to turn directions and speed up so much more effectively, he's able to get by him. Here we can see, ball gets stolen, outletted right to Booker. At this point, you have 1, 2, 3 versus 2. They do a great job getting the ball to the middle and keeping these both spaced. Defender Russ here has to pick between ball and wing. He correctly chooses the ball, but that being said, that leaves the cut open and a dunk or a finish at the rim. Okay, here's another great one. Russ gets the ball in transition. They're pushing the ball up. We can see they already do have a slight numerical advantage, but that's not going to be the biggest thing in this play. Okay, Russ gets the ball to the middle again, as we just discussed. Here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Kicks the ball out. So here in this situation, no team would ever say that this is good offense or defense. Like, look at this spacing relative to what we have in half-court situations. However, this is still going to be an advantage for the offense despite the terrible spacing. Okay? Because it forces players to react, get downhill, and it's just so much easier for him to finish that going downhill than it is for any of these players to step up because they're off balance, because they're moving in a different direction. Transition is such an advantage even when it doesn't even look like an advantage. Even when the spacing is terrible, there's plenty of defenders in your way, you're able to get downhill simply because of the movement. Okay, now we switch to game 3. We can see this is from essentially the opening thing. Russ just goes, gets the ball. First of all, that's a beautiful play by Russ. Very dangerous, but I love it. Just goes and gets the ball. Hey, this creates 2-on-1. Chris Paul is not going to stop that. Okay, so here we can see transition. So here, you would think the Suns 4-4, not going to have any crazy advantage. However, as we've already discussed, leads to miscommunication, going downhill, causes the defense to react. Ball gets swung in, then out. And what happens?